Hey everybody, welcome back. So, today I'm going to be taking a look at this game that was sent in to me. And as usual, if you ever have a game that you think looks interesting and you want to send it in, and let me take a look at analyzing it and show you the good and bad about what you did, go ahead and send me your games and hopefully I'll get a chance to look at them. So, this player that sent in this game was playing as the black pieces. So, let's just go ahead and set it up so that black is at the bottom and white is at the top. That way you can see things from his perspective. White plays e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. So we have the Spanish opening, or Ruy Lopez, whichever you call it. And black, normally in this position, the most popular move is probably, I think, like knight f6 is probably the most popular. And then there's also a6. In this game, we see one of the less common choices. We see knight g to e7. So one of the main points of the Ruy Lopez is white has the idea of taking this knight at a moment that it's convenient and removing the defender of the e-pawn and then taking it. And that's one of the strategic ideas in the Spanish game. But if you put the knight here on e7, the knight from g to e7, then you're saying there's not going to be any ideas of that idea happening. Also, it's less common, so maybe your opponent doesn't know as much about it and is less familiar with it. So 0-0, or castling, a6, bishop c4, knight g6, d3. So I think that d3 wasn't as good for white for a couple of reasons. One, he could play d4 and go for taking the center and try to say, well, if you take, then I have a single pawn at the center, better control. But I do see why d3 is appealing. He probably wants to just play like slowly, not make weaknesses. Maybe that was his idea. But there is another problem with this move. Usually in the Spanish game, this light square bishop is a major attacker. And so white usually wants to keep this bishop on the board. But notice that black could play a5 here, because this e-pawn is defended. Usually the reason why knight a5 can't be played is you have to wait until maybe d6 is played and then the e-pawn is defended, and then you can go after the bishop. But you can go after the bishop right away because this knight on g6 is defending. And if white loses the bishop, it's tough to really say that there's any type of attack going on usually. Bishop c5, bishop g5. Oh, here white actually missed an excellent chance. That's right, I don't want to miss this. White could play knight to g5 with the idea of you're attacking the f7 pawn. And also there's ideas of queen to h5, so it's not like black can just castle to get out of it. So white misses an opportunity. And let's keep going. Here, c5. I feel like c5 is weakening a square. I get the idea you're trying to, I guess, gain space, probably, you're thinking. And usually in a lot of variations of the Ruy Lopez, c5 is a move that is played. Like, I think in the Chigorin, if I'm not mistaken, c5 is... There's so many variations, I don't know all the names, but I think it's the Chigorin, c5. I know the variation, but I forget if that's actually the right name or not. But anyways, c5 is a major idea. In this case, it does weaken a square, though. You are weakening d5. So we'll keep going. And let's see here. Where was the next move? There was one move I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. Moves being played. There's a lot of moves being played. But I wanted to get to move 26 because here is where I wanted to say, up until this point, both sides have played pretty evenly, and players, the white pieces, is rated much higher. And then it makes a mistake here. So this shows that even much higher rated players, I think it was like maybe close to 1,000, okay, 800 points difference here. And so this shows that even players that are much higher rated will sometimes not think and then make a mistake, which has happened to me numerous times in my games. I play somebody a couple hundred points rated lower than me, stop thinking about what I'm doing, and then something like this happens to me, and I lose something like a queen or blunder a checkmate in like 2 moves or something. So just something I wanted to talk about, because even if you're playing against somebody much higher rated, you should always play like full strength. Go for the win. Don't just play the rating, play the person, because these types of things happen sometimes. And yeah, more often than you think, actually. Yeah, and then eventually, and this was, I think, a faster game, like a rapid game. So eventually, if we just go through here, it looks like both players started getting into time trouble, I'm gonna guess. And then white gets a little bit of, I guess, something going, because I'm going to say black was maybe running low on time, because it does say that after move 42 here that white won on time. So, I still say that in this position, black is better. Obviously, the queen for the rook and knight. And so, I think that if black would have had more time, he would have eventually been able to come away with a win. But as often happens in Blitz and Rapid, usually the clock is one of the biggest factors. Alright, but that was an interesting game. So, I'm glad that I got to take a look at it. If anybody else finds any more games they want to send in, go ahead and I'll take a look at them. Alright, thanks, bye.